Is that better?
That is much better.
Cheers!
Cheers, mate!
By the time you're watching this,
It's probably Monday, and we're here to tell you a story. Shit went down.
Shit went down, guys. This is the first time I'm doing a story time on my channel, but I felt like this was too weird not to tell to the internet, so you're gonna get the story.
Let's have a little throwback to Korea.
And Miriam was basically kind of a part of the whole story, so she's here to help me tell this.
This is a therapy session. We're trying to get over what
I'm like traumatized, I'm sitting here.
Okay.
But yeah, everything started in Korea. I was very depressed at the time, basically, because Miriam, she had a lot of luck with the guys in Korea, and I was a bit sad because I'm not that good at that, so...
And in the beginning of November, I finally got together with my now boyfriend. And of course, the wonderful person he is. I was out on a lot of dates and I had a really great time. And Sarah just felt really lonely and depressed. Also because I really wasn't looking for a relationship. And you were kind of ready to...
I was kind of lonely, to be honest. I was
fucking thirsty.
And in Korea, there's this app called Meef. It's basically kind of like Tinder, but it's supposed to be for like language exchange, but it's definitely not used like that. But I was just like having fun on there, trying to meet some people.
Yeah.
And then I randomly just liked this guy on Meef, not because he like had something special that I liked. I was just like doing it for fun.
I feel like I also told you to just go for everyone.
Yeah,
just everyone. Maybe some of the dudes will have a really nice personality. You can hang out, have
because
a good
I think
time.
I'm kind of picky as
very
well.
picky.
So I just tried to,
But you
like,
end up
broaden
with trash.
up. Yeah, I ended up with complete trash, and I feel like it's so me just ending up with complete
This could
trash.
never happen to anyone else that I know. This is totally a Sarah situation.
Fuck. But yeah, I met this guy and it went pretty well. I met him in the beginning of December and we were basically like hanging out every day in December, and he was sleeping over at my place and we went out to have some food and it was kind of nice, but I didn't really have any feelings for him just
Which
because...
is really weird.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, because Sarah gets committed within seconds. I've never seen a person like her, except for maybe my sister, who looks at a person and is just like, this is it.
I'm like, I see someone and that's
I'm
my
in
guy.
love.
I'm gonna get married now.
Yeah. And you met him almost every day, and I asked you,
Erday!
but I asked you almost every day after you met him, like, so how are you feeling, Sarah? How are you feeling about
And
him
I
now?
was like,
just like, it's okay. Like, he's a nice person.
It's cool.
I'm not too invested.
So then we were together like almost every day in December, and I had to go back for Christmas, and then I went back to Korea in January again with my family. When I went back to Korea with my family, I also met up with him like 2 times, and it was really nice at that time.
But the thing is, you still didn't know if you guys were dating or not.
I didn't know ever. We didn't talk about anything, if we were together or if we were just like, I don't know, having fun, you know?
That's another thing about Sarah. Confrontations are not happening. Because I'm a very straightforward person. I think we're very contrary when it gets to that.
Yeah.
So I just told her, just ask him. But you had some pretty bad history with
Really?
approaching people and like have this confrontation.
And I feel like every time I've asked someone like those
What
kind
are
of
we?
questions, people just leave me. So I was so afraid of asking something like that, because I was afraid he would just like abandon me.
Of course.
But then in Korea, when I went back there in January, I think I maybe got some... Excuse you!
Oh, the shit is, I already know you're not gonna edit it out.
No! But then we were kind of like discussing if he would come to Denmark or not, and it sounded like kind of positive. He would like to visit me in Denmark and such. Yeah, and then I went back home and basically just like a month went by.
And you guys texted a little bit every day, like very little. So for me personally, I was just like,
are you okay with that, Sarah?
I would feel so disappointed because...
And honestly, I was not okay.
No, you were not okay. And I'm also used to, like, I make my boyfriend call me every day, send pictures every day, send messages every day, because I just think it's really important to get that communication going. But there was not a lot of communication, and a lot of time went by with him saying things like,
oh, I will buy the tickets this Sunday, or I will buy them before Friday.
And it
That
just didn't happen.
a lot of times.
Yeah, it didn't happen for a really long time.
But then basically last week he bought the tickets like all of a sudden, like 2 days before he was gonna depart from Korea.
Yeah.
So I was like, the fuck? He's coming!
He's coming!
And I was like so happy, yes, we're gonna be together for 2 months. He wasn't supposed to leave until May, but he's obviously gone now. But we're gonna get to that. But yeah, he came here last Thursday. The first day in Denmark was okay, but then the next day he started to have like some kind of weird behavior. First of all, he's really obsessed with working out, so he has to work out every day. But we went to a gym and he wanted to get a membership there, but he wasn't able to get the membership because in Denmark we have to have like an identification number to get the membership.
Oh my god.
You have to have. Kan man sige det? Miriam is pissing her pants.
Shut up!
In Denmark, we have to have... Oh, shut the f***!
Jeg har tisset, og jeg græder. Der er så meget vand på det her seng nu. You need to have an identification number to
something
sign
that
on.
only Danish citizens have.
Or people that live in Denmark.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, he couldn't get that because of that number. And he got kind of like annoyed. He said that everything was all right, but I could kind of like feel on his behavior that something was off. And it was Friday that day, so I was supposed to have some friends over, and we usually do like house parties. So Miriam and some other friends, they came to my place and we were going to drink.
And they wanted to get to know him. And he had also mentioned like, I want to get to know your friend.
Yeah, I was kind of excited for that as well. But the problem is though, he doesn't really drink. And we go pretty hard, I would say, in Denmark. But I was thinking that he was gonna be okay because he's used to the drinking culture in Korea as well.
But also that day, actually, when we got to Sarah's apartment, most of us, we met downstairs at Netto.
Yeah.
Just to grab some drinks. And when we got up here, he greeted us so nicely. He came over and hugged me, and he said to the other people, even though they were maybe just talking to each other, he just came over and said like,
Hey, it's so nice to meet you.
So the beginning, the atmosphere was actually quite nice, and he seemed very open to everything.
Yeah. But then I have this Korean friend who I'm really close with, and he was gonna come as well. But I could kind of like feel on the psycho guy's behavior that he didn't like my Korean friend at all. He felt like he was kind of like, a threat or something. The next day, he talked a lot of shit about that Korean guy, saying that he ruined the atmosphere and he was talking weirdly and he was really rude. But my friends obviously know him, so they didn't have a problem with it.
No, not at all.
And he was also kind of like annoyed at me because I had a hangover.
I mean, he woke you up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, he woke me up at 7 in the morning.
And I remember I left at around 3 a.m.
Yeah, so I basically slept for like 4 hours and then he woke me up
Because he was hungry.
the fuck. And talking about cooking, he didn't like the food I was cooking for him. And if I say so myself, I think I'm pretty good at cooking.
She is really good at cooking.
And normally on a daily basis, I eat generally healthy stuff.
Yes.
But he was like criticizing my cooking, and he even threw some of the food out because he said it was not nutritious enough or I burned the food. And obviously when you fry something, they have to turn a little bit brown for the meat to get done. But he was like throwing it out because it was burnt or it wasn't nutritious enough. And then instead of eating what I cooked for him, he went on to eat like Ben & Jerry's ice cream, or he went down to the supermarket and bought a frozen pizza or something like that's nutritious or something.
Very healthy.
And then he also had this weird habit of eating eggs.
Now listen, just saying he had a weird habit of eating eggs might sound normal. How many eggs did he eat at some point?
He set a record of 15 eggs a day. That's a fucking lot of eggs.
How is that healthy? It is not healthy.
I was like asking him, is it healthy to eat that many eggs? Don't you get like a cholesterol overdose or something? But he was just like, no, we need to get cholesterol that is healthy for our bodies, and he needs to get his protein, and eggs was the only way he could do that.
Of course.
So he basically ate 15 eggs a day.
Or at some point 7 bananas a day.
Yeah, 7 bananas. I told that to my friends because I thought that was kind of weird, like,
it's funny, of course.
He ate 7 bananas a day. And then one of my friends mentioned it to him, like, wow, you eat 7 bananas a day. Later on, he told me that I shouldn't talk about him to others. If he had something he wanted to share, he should say it himself. And he basically told me off in that way. And from Saturday on, the atmosphere also turned kind of weird. Like when we were walking around in public, he refused to hold my hands. I was trying to like hold his arm or grab his hand or something, but he was just like saying, no, not here. Or like he was saying budam, which means burden in Korean. So I don't know what that means, but I was kind of like hurt by that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, he was obviously losing a lot of interest in me, and I don't know what exactly set him off, but something went terribly wrong.
Terribly wrong.
Yeah. And then when he was cooking his fucking eggs, he didn't clean up after him. There were basically like egg pieces all over my table, all over the floor. He had like avocado rubbed into the floor and into my bed sheets.
And he would eat granola, not with anything but his hands, and just like basically throw it into his throat.
Yeah.
There would be granola everywhere.
So my floor was a mess. And I'm not like crazy about like cleaning or stuff, but I couldn't take like granola and old eggs and avocado being all over the floor.
And I mean, who acts that way if they are visiting somebody? I mean, okay, if you're in a committed relationship, things get messy sometimes and it's fine, but he was literally here for a few days before this shit was going down.
And at that point, he kind of like stopped talking to me as well. So while he was messing up my apartment, we didn't really talk that much. Every time I tried to start a conversation, he would like answer with really short answers, and every time I asked him about something, he would always also say,
Why are you asking me that?
and I'm not like asking him of like a specific reason or something, I'm just asking him to try to start a conversation.
And I remember at some points I texted you like, hey, is it going any better? Are things better between you guys? And Sarah would just text me back like, we literally haven't talked for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm trying to start conversations, but he's sitting at the desk while I'm in the bed without even talking to each other.
But at the times we were talking, he would also like say some really weird like racist comments. He would talk really badly about Japanese people, about Chinese people, even about Korean people. Like he was kind of like the superior Korean, and
people of color he would make comments about that they were all gangsters and dangerous.
And I'm not okay with that kind of behavior.
No, of course not. Super awkward.
So weird. And then because the atmosphere started getting worse and worse, I suggested if there were some stuff he wanted to do here in Denmark, like going around seeing some attractions or stuff, but he said to me that he didn't like attractions, he didn't like sightseeing, he hated walking, so there was basically nothing for him to do other than working out here. And then we didn't really talk, he didn't want to do anything, so I asked him, what's the reason you went to Denmark?
Yeah, why did you come here?
And he basically said,
It was mainly to work out.
and I just don't get that, because I thought he was visiting Denmark for me, obviously, to come and see me and to hang out with me, but not interested in me at all. He just wanted to work out, and the opportunities to work out here in Denmark are kind of limited compared to Korea, where he has his gym and there are free outdoor tracks everywhere, and it's really hard to find here in Copenhagen when you're a foreigner.
He didn't show interest in that before, and then suddenly that's the big reason why he came to Denmark.
Something obviously happened that turned him around. Like he lost all interest in me, and he didn't want like any affection with me, or he didn't want me talking to him.
And I mean, the first day when he came, you guys also kissed, and there was like something going on.
But that was only the first day. But yeah, all of that stuff, that was in the weekend. And then we got to Monday, and I didn't really have any classes that week. But because of the atmosphere, I had to get out of the house. So I went to my university where Miriam had some classes, so I joined her for those classes. And I basically stayed at the university all day, and we went out to have dinner together.
Yeah, you asked me like, please, let's do something after university. Let's stay out for as long as possible so I can be away from my own house.
Yeah, because I couldn't live in my apartment because the atmosphere was so bad, and he didn't talk to me.
And I also told Sarah, listen, I'm not gonna let you go home yourself because it was really late, and I also had a really bad dream about him killing you. So it was just like,
that made me like kind of afraid as well, because
sorry.
he didn't say anything. So I thought he was like having some kind of anger inside that would explode and he would kill me or something.
Yeah.
So I was also afraid to go home alone.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring Sarah home, and then we would tell him, listen, we still have some homework to look at, we're gonna drink some tea. And I just wanted to figure out, okay, is this safe for her? Do I have to take her home with me? Because from what I've heard, things were not well. Things were not going all right. So we came back here, and you texted him before, right? You just said like, hey, I'm bringing Miriam home with me. We're on our way back now. We're just gonna do some homework together.
When we went into my apartment, we met him, and he was on the way out, and he said he was going to the supermarket. So we were just like, all right, like, and it was kind of like weird that he went out just at the moment when we came back.
At 9 in the evening.
Yeah. And then we waited for him in my apartment. And he was basically gone for over an hour. And the supermarket usually closed at 10.
Yeah.
But he was back past 10. So he definitely went out to avoid us. But he comes back, he doesn't really talk to us that much.
Ignores us.
And he starts cooking his eggs, of course.
I literally sat there almost peeing my pants because I just heard the egg stories and it was true.
But then after he cooked the eggs, he takes the burning hot frying pan and just puts it in my sink.
Direct into the sink.
And we hear this kind of like weird noise, like something is like sizzling on the pan. So I go out to boil some water for making tea, just so I could like check what was going on out there. And he had like put 2 knives with a plastic handle on top of the burning hot frying pan. So my knives were basically melting on top of the frying pan.
Yeah, and you were just also like, sorry, but you didn't even put water on this? You know that these things are melting? He was just like, oh. And then I got so angry that I just looked at him and I said, you don't cook at home? You don't cook for yourself? And he was like,
yeah, I do.
And I said, yeah, then he asked me like, why are you asking? Like he always asks you. And then I just said, well, if you do, then you would know that this is not okay. I mean, those things are expensive. They're Sarah's things. You're literally melting knives in a hot pan. That's stupid. And he was just like,
my mistake.
He also looked at me like,
yeah, he was like giving you weird looks.
Yeah.
And then you also kind of like tried to have some conversations with him just to break the weird atmosphere and see if you could get something started with the conversations.
He also did make the atmosphere weirder because I was sitting at Sarah's desk and then he went to the toilet to take a piss.
Yeah.
And he left the door open and I just thought, boy, if I wanted to, I could probably see something right now. Yeah. Which was pretty disgusting. But yeah, I approached him and I asked him like, ooh, I heard that maybe you were thinking about traveling more around Europe. So when is that gonna happen? When are you gonna do that? And I came with a lot of information about like Flixbus or cheap flights, which you had already mentioned to me.
I already told him a lot about that.
Exactly. And then suddenly he also mentions like that he was gonna travel to another part of Europe within this week maybe.
And he haven't even mentioned that to me, so I didn't know anything about that.
Which I think is a thing you should do if you say to someone, I'm gonna live at your place for 2 months. You should tell them that you're gonna leave the apartment. So that was really weird. But then he ignored us again for a little while, eating his food. Like I don't get annoyed by food noises. No. I don't. Yeah. But he was literally sitting there like, I was looking at him, I saw eggs dropping, I saw granola and avocado hitting the floor.
I kind of have a problem with eating noises.
Yeah, you do.
So I was just like, fucking pissed off, but I couldn't really do anything because we weren't talking or anything, and I thought it would be kind of unfair to comment about his eating noises when we didn't really talk.
But he ignored us for a little while, and then I thought, okay, let's see if I can talk a little more with him. So I just said like, oh, listen, this week we have the Nordic Korean study days and it's so stressful. And I told him a little bit about my university stuff. Yeah. And then he proceeds to say like,
oh, that's why you're so good at Korean.
And I tell him, boy, I am not good at Korean, not at all. And then he tells me like,
oh, but you never fail any tests because you're so smart, blah, blah, blah.
And the atmosphere kind of changed and was a little weird.
He was kind of like saying a lot of positive things about you, which was, I mean, it's good that he says positive things,
very
but kind of like,
in that situation. Yeah. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, we're talking about university stuff. He looks at me and says,
I think your boyfriend is together with you because you're attractive.
And it took me like, I was so surprised by that comment that I just said, what?
Yeah.
And he just said, yeah, your boyfriend is together with you because you're attractive. And I just said, like, thank you.
And first of all, like, saying that in front of me, I thought that was kind of like...
Odd.
Yeah, really odd. And then also just saying that your boyfriend was together with you because you're attractive, that also kind of...
Sounds
like,
weird.
Inappropriate and offensive.
And the atmosphere just gets really weird. So I look at Sarah at some point and just tell her, like, dude, can I leave now?
Yeah.
It's late. I want to go home. So I leave.
And then I try to, like, because the atmosphere had kind of like loosened up a bit just because Miriam talked a bit with him. So I tried to talk to him again. He didn't really answer, as always. But yeah, I go take a shower. I lay down in the bed. He also takes a shower. While he's in the shower, Miriam texts me that...
Basically in a group chat, like, Sarah, this is weird. He just added me on Facebook basically half an hour ago when I left through the door.
And that's really weird.
And then I asked you, like, but you guys are friends on Facebook, right?
Yeah, so I went to check, of course, just because I wanted to check out if you had accepted the request. But I noticed that I'm blocked. He literally blocked me while he's in my fucking apartment. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Everybody in the group chat is freaking out, like, excuse me, he fucking
So I go to Instagram and guess if he also blocked me there.
Of course he did!
The answer is yes. So he basically blocked me not only on Facebook but also on Instagram while he's in my apartment. So I was just like, no, I can't take this anymore. This is fucking weird. Like, what is he gonna do to me now that he blocked me? Is he gonna kill me? So I was kind of like really angry, kind of panicking as well. So he comes out of the shower and I basically just ask him, why did you add Miriam on Facebook? And he says it's because you had a lot of informative information about cheap flight tickets.
That she had told him.
And I have already talked to him about a lot of that.
Bullshit!
So I'm like, I went to your Facebook and why did you block me? And he's like,
No, I didn't block you. Maybe it's just like a network error.
and I'm like, sure, dude, it's a network error. And then he said like,
I can probably fix it tomorrow.
why would he be able to fix a network error? So I obviously know that he did block me for sure, and it's not just a network error. So when he told me that he could probably fix it tomorrow, I was like, no, you don't have to, I don't care about
it's
that.
fine.
And then he also tells me that
maybe you should just go to sleep now because you have to get up early.
and I was like, what the fuck, he's telling me to go to sleep? Am I like a 5-year-old to him, or what the fuck is happening?
Shut up!
And then maybe like 5 minutes after, he comes into the bed, he lays down next to me, which is already kind of weird because we don't talk and we're kind of like in an argument, I don't really know, but he lies down next to me and I ask him again, like, so you want to talk to Miriam about that, huh? And then he tells me,
please stop talking to me. I'm too tired, I need to sleep. I worked out really hard today, so just stop talking to me, we can talk tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point I'm just like,
oh
okay.
hell no!
Oh no, you don't tell me to shut up in my own house.
Sarah's just writing to the group chat, everybody's going wild like,
Yeah,
the fuck dude, shut up!
So I'm like, after he told me that, I maybe lie down for 30 seconds more until I just like, I'm burning, I'm shaking because I'm so angry, but I can't really talk to him in that moment, so I have to cool down a bit. So I just run out of the bed, like grab my shoes, throw on a jacket and run out into I have like a garden out here. So I just run out there and I'm standing like shaking because kind of like
all the anger.
Yeah, because I'm so angry, also because it's a bit cold, but I can see him inside, he's turning the light on. So I look inside, I'm just giving like him like the meanest look ever, like just staring at him. And then I can see he starts like messing around with stuff in his suitcase. So I'm like, oh my god, is he actually packing his stuff now? And after I've been outside for maybe 5 minutes or something, I go inside again. I lay down in my bed with my back turned to him so he can't see my face or anything. And I can just like hear him walking around in my apartment, going to the bathroom to get his stuff. And he's zipping up his suitcase. He goes to the door, takes on his shoes, puts on his jacket.
We're getting updates like, oh my god, he's taking his shoes on now. I'm
doing like live updates.
Oh my god.
And then finally, He leaves through the door. I run up, I lock the door immediately, and I block him on every social media site.
And since then, he's gone.
He's gone. I don't know where he went. And at that time he left, it was like maybe 1
a.m.?
1 a.m. So I don't know where he could have gone, if he went straight to the airport or if he went to a hotel in the middle of the night. I'm not sure if that's possible in Copenhagen.
We have no idea. He's gone.
Yeah. Oh, but also something that's worth mentioning is before all of this kind of like weird stuff happened in the end, he gets a phone call in English and I hear him like speaking English like,
"Oh, what are you doing? Hey, what's up?"
And he walks out into the hallway, so I can't hear him talking. And when he comes back, I ask him, "Who was that you were talking with?" And he says,
"It's my Korean friend."
Why the hell would he talk in English with a Korean friend? He sucks at speaking English, honestly.
Yeah, his English is not that great,
Yeah.
so I don't think he would ever choose to communicate with, like, through English.
So I think maybe he was talking to some other girl. He mentioned that he wanted to go to Milan.
Like, really badly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have to go there. Why?
So our theory is that he has some girl in Italy. Maybe he's gonna go there and totally fuck her over as well.
Use her apartment as a hotel.
Yeah, that was kind of like the story of what happened. So I was kind of like, I was traumatized by this. I feel like next couple of days I was kind of like scared or yeah, when I went out of my apartment, so I was like looking around if he would be there, or I even had dreams that he would come and knock on my door and try to hurt me or something. But yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit better, and hanging out with you guys has helped a lot, because I was feeling kind of weird after just staying in that atmosphere for so long.
And I also think that you learned something from this in a way, because after he left, she just looked at me and said, I learned my self-worth. No matter what happens, I will not just take the first good option, so I'm not lonely anymore, but I have to learn to be happy with myself and choose people that are good for me as well.
Because in the past I've only liked people or something because they gave me attention.
That's really not good for
No,
yourself.
that's not good. But now I'm aware that I need to change that, and it kind of like gave me an epiphany that I need to think more about myself and not just take what's closest or what's easiest, because that's gonna hurt me in the end. So that's also my message to you guys. Know your own self-worth and don't just go with the easiest.
Yeah, and talk to people. If you're not sure where you're at, if you're not sure what you and the other person are, have a talk about it. If the person then is annoyed and leaves, let them go. Like
because they're not worth it.
No, of course not. Don't ever let anybody do that.
So if you have any toxic people in your life, throw them away, because you don't have time for that. You deserve more.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that was the end of my story time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was kind of like insightful or funny. I don't know. I had to tell this story to someone.
She's alive. That's
I'm alive. Yeah. All of my friends were concerned about me, but I'm alive. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to leave some likes, some comments, and also subscribe to my channel if you want more videos. Bye.
Bye.
Oh,